So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday Satsang. And let us begin by energization. So, you can get ready. Let's begin with a prayer. O Infinite Spirit, recharge my body with thy conscious cosmic energy, my mind with thy concentration and determination, and my soul with thy ever new joy. O eternal youth of body and mind, abide within me forever and ever. Om. Let's begin. First exercise, double breathing. Relaxing out, tensing in. From toes up. Okay. Calves and ankle rotation. Pulling up, pushing down. Left side, ankle rotation. Right side. Rotation. Calf and forearm. Left side, thigh and upper arm. Calf and forearm, thigh and upper arm. Calf and forearm. Right side. Calf and forearm, thigh and upper arm. Both sides. Okay, chest and buttock, left side, right, left, right, left. Okay, lower back, left, trying to isolate, right, left, right. Middle back, tensing with will, relaxing and feel. Upper, pulling the shoulder blades back. Okay, rotation, front, concentrating on the shoulders while moving the arms back. Okay, neck exercises, left side of the neck, right, tensing. Huh? Yeah, yeah. And front and back. Neck rotation. Small circles tensing. One side, other side. Large circles, no tension. Okay. The spinal exercises. Twisting upper body one direction, lower body one direction. Concentrating the spine in all these exercises now. Rotation, arching the back, feeling the movement in the spine. Lower body should be straight facing. Other direction. Okay. Side to side. Next. Spinal adjustment. Knuckles at the base. Pushing up. Each vertebra. Feeling it. Opening up. the spine. Okay, upper spinal twist. Concentrating again on the upper spine, following the hands, getting a proper twist. Okay, skull tapping. All sides. Scalp massage. Moving the scalp, not scratching the head. Front, back, sides, rotation. Medulla massage, 3 fingers. The medulla. One side, pushing in. Again, rotating, massaging, breathing in. Okay. Biceps, left, concentrating on the left bicep, squeezing, tensing, relaxing. Right, tensing, relaxing. Left, right, left, right. Sending attention to parts of the body. This is the important thing to remember. Okay, now 20 part. Breathing in, tensing from toes up, relaxing down, feeling the entire body relax till the toes. Okay, now tensing each body part as I call out. Left foot tense, relax. Right foot tense, sending your attention there. Relax. Calves, left, right. Thighs, left, right. Buttocks, left, right. Okay, abdomen, lower, upper, forearms, left, right. Tensing, relaxing, upper arms, left, right. Chest, left, right. Neck, front, back, left. Now taking in one breath and holding all the body parts we just called. I'll call out to start breathing in. Tense, right foot, left, calves, thighs, buttocks, abdomen, upper, lower, forearms, upper arms, chest, neck, tensing, relaxing opposite direction, relaxing neck, chest, upper arms, forearms, stomach, abdomen, buttocks, thighs, calves, and feet. Once again, tensing, breathing in, pulling in prana, tensing the body, all muscles relaxing. Feeling the difference in the energy for a few seconds. Concentrating at the point between the eyebrows. Feeling lightness, tingling. Okay. Pushing, pulling weights. Relaxing at each end. Pulling up, pushing down. Double breathing, elbows touching. Same. Opening the chest. Drawing in energy. Tensing from toes up. This is important. Pushing, pulling weights from the side. Okay. Rotation. Front, larger circles, picking smaller and smaller. Tensing. Opposite. Larger circles. Tensing. And relax. Pushing, pulling weights from forehead, from the front. Okay. Finger recharge, opening and closing, sides, front, up and down. 4-part recharge. Breathe in, breathe out. Double breath. 2 more times. Single arm raising, pulling the energy up, side to side. Okay, walking in place. Knees, try to get them higher. And then running in place. Same, try to get your knees up. Moving the energy. And relax. Taking a moment. Fencing. Left foot ahead, right foot. Pushing the arm slightly diagonally. Okay. Circles. Right. Now stomach exercises. First one, Uddiyana Bandh. Breathe out and hold, pulling the stomach in. Now pushing and pulling in the front with the breath out. Okay. Isolating left, right, rotation, however you can do it. Okay, first exercise. Opening the chest, expanding. Right. Calves and ankle rotation, left and right. Okay. Hip recharge, left side, concentrating in the hip, rotating one direction, other direction, right side. Great. Last exercise now. Standing still, arms to the chest, breathing out. Just relaxing and then breathing in. This is without tension. Bring your arms close as you breathe in, concentrating at the point between the eyebrows, feeling the energy throughout the body. Do this a few times. Om Shanti. I invite now Bhavani ji to lead us into the satsang. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Avinash. And welcome everyone once again to our weekly satsang. Let's begin with an invocation to the gurus. Let's offer a prayer together, Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, friend, beloved God, great masters, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Sri Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, beloved Guru, Paramhans Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, friend and guide, Swami Kriyananda Ji, we humbly bow at thy feet. Divine Masters, we invite your presence, your blessings in this satsang. We thank you for this opportunity to come together in your name. Thank you for these teachings, for the light of yoga in our lives, for the gift of your presence in our lives. Help us rise above ego consciousness and merge ourselves in thy light. We are your children. Bring us home to thee. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thou art the sweetness which I do see.
taking this devotion into our meditation, continuing to offer ourselves through the heart's love, through the breath, through your feelings, and every thought that's raised into the mind, transmuting it into love for the divine. Thou art my life, thou art my love. Thou art the sweetness which I do seek. Lifting the spine, lifting the gaze behind closed eyes, and fixing our attention, our devotion at the spiritual eye, calling to the masters, calling to God, offering up every breath. As a conscious act of love. Let us enter into this meditation. The next, we can practice any meditation technique that we know, leaving the last few minutes to be in silence, enjoying the presence of God. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Good evening, everyone, and greetings. This is the day of the Gita, the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. You know, I was just thinking all of the satsangs can be distilled into two words. And I wish I could close my satsang with those two words. And that's love God. And love God. That's the path. And, you know, if there is one great work that is happening in creation, from age to age, yuga to yuga, from one cycle of Brahma to the other, it is this sincere souls striving to redeem themselves from separation from God, to transcend their ego, consciousness, and to unite in Him. And you and me are on the, are in that great wave of light that the masters have brought to sweep this world in that light that is fighting in confusion, turmoil, darkness. And I was just thinking, we have a great responsibility and we have a great duty. Sounds heavy, but it is an important responsibility that 5 avatars are on the altar, sending forth their vibrations, their love, their power, their magnetism, because they care for us, because they love us. Master said again and again, God does not mind your faults. God does not mind your weaknesses. He does not mind your imperfections. He minds our indifference. And the scriptures, thank God, and the masters come to help us redeem our souls from that forgetfulness, from that sense of separation. And today's verse is taken from the chapter, The Supreme Science of Knowing God, verse 23. All the effects of karma are nullified in oneself, and one achieves liberation when ego attachment ceases, when one becomes centered in wisdom, and when all one's actions are offered up in sacrifice to the infinite. I was thinking, how many people in this world are thinking of liberation? Like Krishna says, perhaps 1 in 1,000 or 1 in tens of thousands or perhaps 1 in million. And but the hope and promise is held out to every soul through every experience. Master writes an important point. He said, at the heart of every experience is its dual opposite waiting to manifest. So we are happy, well, the seeds of sorrows are also there. Unfortunately, we are in pain, well, the seeds of happiness are also there. And that's this wonderful play of God that we are all in. It's a great adventure. But I want to look at, how do we get ego attached? The soul is sent forth into creation with freedom, with liberation, with all the infinite power that God has clothed it with. But we come, Master said, the ego is the soul identified with the body. It identifies with this body, begins to play with this world of manifold appearances. It begins to enjoy the pleasures, and thinks, okay, this is the reality. This is my home. And we forget gradually where we came from, where our true home is. And at one point, I remember that without God, there is no clarity. We can keep thinking, intellectualizing it, and hypothesizing it. But ultimately, you come to that bottom line, which is without God, there is no clarity. Without God, all our hypotheses crumble and we'll see the dust. So ego attachment, so it becomes identified with this body and it begins to recognize this as the house of pleasure, that this is my home. Now, how do we overcome this? There are many ways. All our scriptures are about how to overcome the ego. In yesterday's session on healing, we were talking about darshan. We have Naya Swamis, Jyotish and Deviji, our worldwide directors visiting India. They are in India and will be here till the 19th of October. And we were discussing the importance of recognizing the power of a sacred presence. You know, what is familiar very quickly loses its wonder for us. It very quickly loses its power too. Not because it doesn't have power, not because the sacred presence doesn't have power, but we do not bring power. And an important point that is made is that darshan, as we popularly call it, as it's not just seeing. The question is, what are we bringing? It's not about just taking, take as much as you can, in these few moments that you are in the presence. No, it's what are you bringing? And that is why the scriptures say it is more blessed to give than to receive, because it is in the giving that we receive. Without the giving, the receiving is very shallow and almost a delusion. So it's in the giving that we receive. What are we bringing? Are we bringing, and what is important for us to bring? We need to bring a heart of adoration. What this world sorely lacks is a heart of adoration, a heart of wonder, like the child. And that's why Christ says, without becoming like little children, you cannot enter into the kingdom of God. That bring a heart of wonder, bring a heart of love, bring a heart of innocence. And it's an innocence, it's a adoration, it's a reverence that is pure. And when something is pure, the miracle of it is that it has the power to see the light even in darkness. And that is why the masters don't care about mistakes and imperfections, because that pure light in them sees only the light, and that's all that matters. The shadow does not matter. So why focus much on our mistakes, on what we are not doing right? And, focus instead, as Master would say, focus on what the strength is, focus on where the light is, focus on what you can rather than on what you can't. And I say this more and more because I too, often, oh, I can't, even before the satsang, I was like, oh, no, all of it. And then, I just read that line, Master said, change your I can'ts into I can, because who is the doer? Like when Babaji tells Sri Yukteswarji, why don't you write a book showing the unity between the Indian Bible and the Christian Bible? And he said, oh, Master, what a command. And he said, oh, but who is the doer? We forget because we are over identified with this body. Anyway, coming back to darshan. So, do tune into the satsangs of Jyotish and Deviji while they're here. They'll be here especially in Pune, offering a satsang on the 2nd of October, which is a national holiday. So we really don't have any excuse. And so come and be in their presence, offer them your heart's love. And there is this important point that Yogananda ji makes from his healing. In the autobiography of a yogi, he talks about the healing he received at the age of 8 from the picture of Lahiri Mahashaya when he was stricken with Asiatic cholera and death was, certain. And his mom and his mother says that, he couldn't even lift his hand to, bring his palms together. She says, inwardly bow to him. And he does it, and he sees a blinding light which immediately heals him completely. And the interesting thing, the gift is also not just of that healing. The important point that Master made was it brought an intensification of love. And that's interesting. Why did it bring an intensification of love? Because that's what Master brought to that prayer. What we bring is what is intensified, magnified, and blessed. So when we are in the presence of the great ones, they're always with us. We pass by their pictures so many times, often not even recognizing them. It is that Master, whenever he passed by the picture of Sri Yukteswarji, he would mentally bow. Maybe it's a conscious practice we can make in our ego transcendence, at least for that moment when and it's good, place their pictures all around, So you're constantly reminded that that's where my head should bow. And it's a way to relax the ego. Master writes it's a technique that bring the energy from the medulla, this which is at the base of the brain here, bring it to this point. And they say a forward bend brings the energy from the medulla to this point. So when we bow, and Mary Kritzman during the early, experiments in healing, she said, even just bringing the palms together greatly expands the aura. So, but to say, when we look at these pictures, take a pause to consciously remind ourselves of the presence of the great ones in every atom in creation, including in every cell of our body. It is dormant, that presence, that consciousness is sleeping when we don't bring conscious awareness to it. All that is needed to awaken that latent power and that infinite power is our conscious recognition and adoration of it. Second, I want to mention prayer. Prayer is extremely powerful. I remember I did not really share this much, but at one point, I was going through something really, on one level, strange. I simply couldn't stop laughing about something. And it was coming to a point of embarrassment, serious embarrassment. And try as I might, I would gain a temporary hold. Again, it would break out. After 2-3 days, I realized this is almost satanic. This is really disrupting, divine, sessions that are needing to happen. So after the social engagements were over, I got into my room. I sat down and I prayed to Master. I told him, I'm simply not able to control this energy that is flowing through me. You have to do something about it. And after that prayer, after that meditation, by God's grace, it did not attack me. Prayer works wonders. We need the power of prayer in our life. Whatever we are trying to achieve, whatever we are trying to manifest in our life, even in the mundane chores of the day to day, pray before you begin. It's a wonderful practice we have in Ananda, even before we begin meetings, even before we start our food, to pray, to invite the divine presence, to purify us, to cleanse us, to allow us to remember that God is a reality that's flowing through us. Swamiji writes in this book, in his book, The New Path, how Master would often test them. And I'm wanting to say that the tests that we go through in life, what we may rebel against, or what we may resist, or what we may complain about, we want to embrace them as a gift of the masters. Swamiji writes, and don't bring intellectual, reasonable objections to it. I do that often, and you go nowhere. And then sometimes a thought comes, well, Master made them dig a swimming pool which he never used. And you can think about, well, why did Master ask them to dig a swimming pool? He never used it. Maybe there's something wrong with Master. If you go along that line of thought, you're getting into dangerous waters. And Swamiji writes about one hot afternoon when they had dug a big pit, and they were glad it was over and they were getting ready for lunch. And Master comes out just then, and he says, and he looks at all that mound of mud that is lying around, looking ugly, and he says, let's do something about those mounds of mud lying around. Why don't you bring a 2x4 and let's flatten them? And so Norman was with Swamiji. Norman and Swamiji, two of them, they start the work of leveling those mounds. And Swamiji wrote, it was not easy at all. Norman, a big man, was literally, he said, moaning under the weight of the task. They did 2, 3, 4, and said, oh, Master must be happy now. And then Master said, that one is needs work over there. And that one, and that one, and that one. And then Swamiji said he got up and he just began to laugh. And Master smiled. And Swamiji writes how Master would give them a test to just test the limits of their ego, of their endurance. Can they transcend it? Or are they going to play there? So sometimes when there's something in our life that is inconvenient, to tune in not with our intellect alone, but primarily to lead ourselves with our intuition and let our intellect follow our intuition and not allow the intellect to run forward with its reasonable objections, as Master once nicely put it. So let our intuition lead us towards a higher understanding. And one little step forward, one little correction towards a higher understanding in our life, they bring great power. They open great spiritual doors towards the grace, bringing in the grace of God. And all that the masters are asking from us is, will you make that first choice to choose me? Or are you going to choose your ego motivations? God is always calling to us, friends. We can't hear him. We can't hear him because we are so busy serving our ego. And he waits patiently for us. When are my children coming back to me? The last line of that verse says, offering up everything to the infinite. When will we offer up something to the infinite? Would you do that without love? You can't do it without love. If you have no love, you won't want to offer anything. So consciously cultivate love for God. And the tools are there. How do you practice uh, getting away from sensory reflections? When we make a choice, think back. Everything is a manifestation of sensory reflexes, sensory choices we are making. Can we pause, ask Master, what do you want me to do? Let him guide you. Let God's whispers guide you. And that's how we move towards freedom and cultivate that love for God, friends. And it comes through daily meditation. There is nothing more important in our life, as Master would say, than the appointment with God. Nothing is more important than that. Don't wait for pain to teach, to teach us that lesson. God wants us to be happy. Let's use our happy moments to discover the greatness of God's love. St. John of the Cross, he said, in the evening of our lives, we will be asked just one thing: how much did you love? It all boils down ultimately, no matter how great a thing we did, no matter how little a thing you did, ultimately God watches the heart, the consciousness with which we did it. And for us too, it behooves well then to ask, what was the consciousness I brought to what I did or what I'm doing? That is all that matters. You may make the greatest mistake, you may commit the greatest sin, but if your heart is open to God, he just lifts you up. And that is a beautiful promise that the lives of the masters bring us. We are blessed, but let's also bring these blessings to all those who are in need, to all those who are ready to receive. Let's offer our lives in commitment, in love, in service, and let that light spread all around the world. We'll now rise for the Arati. Let us now share the blessings of this satsang with all souls everywhere, those in need of healing, friends, family, all our brothers and sisters, nations, leaders, especially those areas in the world that are going through turbulences, floods in the north, wars in different parts of the world. Let us consciously send God's light and love from our hearts. And let us also visualize Jyotishji and Deviji in the light as they continue their tour across India, sharing the light of the Masters. May God's light and love strengthen them and fill them with deep blessings. Rubbing our palms together, let us send out these blessings of Om. Divine Mother, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, what I forgot was I also wanted to read a few techniques of ego transcendence that Swamiji has written in Sadhu Beware. Let's take two for practice for this week. I will choose two, but two. This is a beautiful book, Sadhu Beware, and it has many practical suggestions. When you see something you'd like for yourself, buy it if possible, accept the satisfaction of possessing it. Then, however, give it away with a free heart to someone else. When people praise you for any reason, don't accept their praise in your heart. Don't say ungraciously, for example, oh, it was nothing. That would mean deprecating their good taste and common sense. Thank them sincerely instead, but then give the credit to God. Do so in words if you like, but much more importantly, give Him the credit in your heart. Tell yourself, God is the doer. Okay, let's choose one of them and practice this week. Thank you, friends, for joining. Have a wonderful evening and mark your calendars for October 2nd.